Hi. Hi, I'm Zack Frederick, and how are you all doing today it's October 17th, I believe. Yep, October 17th. It's October 17th, 317. I don't know why, but for some reason you all might have noticed this when you see my videos on up on YouTube. You might notice that that it says the wrong time for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason, my videos, like right now, I'm recording at I'm starting at 3:17 p.m. and when my video comes up, when it's done, and I see it, it shows the wrong time. I don't get it, and it comes out on the wrong time, my videos, when they're up in the suggestions on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe you all could help me out with that, if you leave comments. So far, I haven't gotten any views, because, well, I know people don't know about my channel. Basically, I'm speaking to no one right now, but if anybody does happen to hear about me, Zack Frederick, please watch me if you want, check me out. I got a bunch of videos, Raw reviews I did for Raw, for WWE SmackDown, reviews I did for TNA, Wrestling, and ROH. And, but I haven't got any. I've told a few of my friends about my channel. Like, 2 of my friends saw me so far. 2 of my friends checked me out, but, other than that, nobody else knows about me. I'm watching Beverly, and nobody knows about me really. But if you happen to see me, give it, leave a comment, or comments if you want to leave comments. Click the like button if you like, the dislike button if you don't like. I'm watching Beverly Hills Cop 2 right now on TV, on Comedy Central. I believe that's the channel it is. Yep, Comedy Central. And Beverly Hills Cop 1 was on before it. They were showing Beverly Hills Cop 1, now they're showing 2. They showed Trading Places before that, so I guess this is Eddie Murphy Day or something, or because it's been all Eddie Murphy since this morning on that channel. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about a few things that are on my mind. Like one thing that's on my mind, I was just thinking this morning. I was just thinking and sitting there talking to myself. Boxing. The heavyweight division, lightweight division, featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, middleweight, light middleweight, super middleweight, welterweight, light welterweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, and then there's super heavyweight. Well, anyway, boxing and all different divisions of boxing, and all different levels, the amateurs, the pros, The point system in boxing is like, I never liked it, and I don't like it. How in boxing, like, you have judges, and each individual judge, they gotta give a point. They put points if in case it goes to a decision, If nobody gets knocked out or a TKO stoppage, if it goes to a decision, then they take it to the scorecards and they see what the judges scored. And judges, I don't like how they're allowed to basically go based on their opinion, and there is no structured thing. I think there should be a structured, organized thing that says you have to Every punch that lands is a point. Whether it's a punch to the body or if it's to the face, I think every punch, no matter if it's a hard punch or a soft punch, every punch I think should be a point. That's what I think. Get a cigarette. I'm not smoking a cigarette. And I think that's how it should be. But the way it is, how it is in boxing is that, and in MMA too, and mixed martial arts too, and UFC and all that. If it does go to a decision, if there's no stoppage and no knockout, they will take it to the scorecards, and the referees, they're allowed. Excuse me, not the referees, the judges who are scoring the fight, they're allowed to score a point based on opinion, based on their own opinion. Do I think that that punch was hard enough? Whereas one judge, he or she might think that was a hard, solid punch, and they'll give it a point. And then another judge, he or she might think that punch wasn't that hard, so I'm not going to give it a point. That punch to the body, I don't think it was hard. I won't give that punch that he caught in the face. I don't think it was hard enough. I don't think it was a good, solid punch, so I'm not going to give it a point. And then two more judges might think it was a solid punch. You might have three judges that don't think is a hard punch, and one or two judges, however many judges there are scoring a fight, they might think it was. So you always have these questionable decisions in boxing. You always have controversy. Ever since the history of boxing, going back generations ago and decades ago, you always had controversial decisions, controversial split decisions, and controversial unanimous decisions. Fights that people thought a guy, he won by unanimous decision, oh, he shouldn't have won, or he won, but I think it was closer than, they gave him a unanimous decision. Oh, I think it was closer than that, the way I saw the fight. Well, what are these judges thinking? And you have then you have controversial decisions where it's a split decision, and people think, no, that guy or that girl, whether it's a women's boxing match, whatever the case may be, that fighter, he or she won by way more than that. This guy, that guy, he was kicking his ass way more than he should have. It was not that close. He should have won he should have got a unanimous decision, not a split decision. Then you have draws that people say, they say, no, it shouldn't have been a draw, that guy won. And some people might think the other guy won. That shouldn't have been a draw, that guy won. And this is what you're always going to have in boxing, as long as you have the fight scored this way. I know it's been tradition. For the 100 or more than 100 years boxing's been around, tradition to score the fights that way, but I think they should have more of a structured, organized system where it's, no matter if it's a hard punch to the head or a soft punch, or to the face, whether whether it's a hard punch to the face or to the body, or if it's a soft punch, and it always differs. It always comes down to one's own opinion. The people who are watching the fight, and the spectators, the people who are judging the fight, it always comes down to one's own opinion. Do Do they think it was a hard punch, or was it a soft punch that doesn't deserve a point? The opinions always differ from one person to the next. And that's why if they just made it that every punch you land is a point, whether it's hard or soft. Every punch that's landed is a point. If they're gonna do it by they're gonna go to decision. Because I remember back in the Jack Johnson days, I did my history about way back then in Jack Johnson's era of bare knuckle boxing. And the early day, or he fought some of his matches with gloves on too. Well, in the early days of boxing, Jack Johnson, any of you who know who he is, they fought. There was no 12-round limit or 15-round limit. Back in those days, there was no round limits. They would go for as many rounds as they had to until a guy got knocked out. They would go, sometimes it would be short. If a guy get knocked out in 5 rounds, in the 5th round, then it would end. If a guy get knocked out in the 3rd round, in the 1st round, then it would end there. It's whenever it could go to 18 rounds, 19 rounds. It could go to 20 rounds, 30 rounds, 30-something rounds. The longest fight that I know of was with Jack Johnson, and it went 45 rounds until somebody got knocked out. I forgot who it was. I think he was fighting Jesse Willard, and it was a big controversial fight. I think it might have been Jesse Willard at the time. I'm not sure. I'll have to check it again. But I know it was a fight with Jack Johnson, that it was the longest fight in boxing history. It went 45 rounds before somebody got knocked out. I forgot which guy it was. Was it Jack Johnson or the other guy, Jesse Willard or whoever? But that was the longest boxing match in history that I know of. It went 45 rounds until somebody got knocked out. And that's how it was back in the day. I'm not saying it should be like that now, even though the fighters who choose to be boxers and MMA fighters, it's something they do by choice. They have free will to not do it if it's just not their thing. But I get it why there's round limits. At first it was 15 rounds for a long time, then it got shortened to 12 rounds, and then in the early, I think it was 83. It was 83. Ray Mancini, he knocked out this Asian guy, Dooku Kim. Boom Boom Mancini, I love him. An Italian boxer, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. He's one of my favorite boxers. It was sad and unfortunate though. A guy got killed because they had gotten away. Yeah, I think it was 83 that happened. And they shortened it to 12 rounds, and then they brought back the 15 rounds to test it out. And that one fight that they had, when they brought back the 15 round, he ended up dying in the last round. The Asian guy, Dooku Kim, he died in the 15th round because he got punched. Because he got punched by Ray Mancini, and he fell, and his head bounced against the ropes. His head fell and it bounced. Excuse me. His head fell and it bounced against the bottom rope, and it snapped off the bottom rope. His head snapped like a slingshot type effect, and it hit the canvas. It hit the ring, and his head cracked open. He was in a coma, and he died. He ended up dying in the hospital, and the guy's mother, Dooku Kim, his mother, she couldn't handle it. She was devastated by it. She ended up committing suicide because her son died. And then the referee, the ref that was reffing that fight, he felt guilty. he felt he should have stopped the fight. He felt he should have stopped the fight earlier, and he couldn't live with the guilt, and he killed himself. He ended up hanging himself or something, the ref. And I'm like, wow, that shit is sad. And even Ray Mancini, it kind of killed his boxing career. I know you might find it funny me saying that because he's the guy that lived, but still, he was devastated by it because he felt for the guy. He wanted to win. He wanted to win, but he didn't want the guy to get killed, and that's what happened. And Ray Mancini, he quit boxing. He retired from boxing for a few years, and then later he came back to fight Macho Camacho in '89, and he fought a few fights after that. He had some pretty good showings when he came back, but he was devastated when that happened to the guy, and he quit boxing for a few years. And so after that fight, they got rid of the 15. I mean, that could have happened in any round. I think the way if he gets knocked down like that in the first round, if he gets knocks down like that in the first round, and his head snaps against the ropes and he cracks his head on, it could have happened in the first round. Could have happened in the 9th round, 8th round, first round. But I don't know exactly how dazed and concussed he was. Maybe I don't know. But it was just sad and unfortunate, though. So I'm not a person that doesn't have any sympathy at all for guys and their health and their life when they go in that ring. And the UFC guys and the UFC women, when they go into that octagon, I have sympathy for them. I don't want people to get seriously hurt and killed. And in boxing, I don't want the men boxers or the women boxers to get seriously hurt and killed, But it is the nature of the sport. Mixed martial arts and boxing, it is the nature of when you get punched in the head repeatedly, especially if you do it for years and years and years, a lot of people are gonna suffer serious head and brain injuries and concussions, and you get broken rib, broken jaw, broken nose. That goes without saying. And I feel for the women and men that are fighters. But still, it's I don't know, it's like some of these stoppages they have, I think, are premature. And again, I get it, because their health, they don't want people dying in the ring, and then they have all these lawsuits against the ref and against that boxing organization. Why didn't you stop the fight earlier, and we're gonna sue you? And all that shit. And so refs will stop the fights. Some of them are good. I've seen some good stoppages, but some of these stoppages I see are a little bit ridiculous. Even though I understand, I get it, the intent why. Unless it's fixed, unless some of these fights are fixed, which that's a whole different story. That's a whole different issue right there. Like, even when there is stoppages, here's where I'm getting at. Even when there is stoppages, the ref sees a guy, he's getting beat up, or in a woman's fight, the one woman is just getting pounded on and not really coming back. So, the refs, they will, be proactive about that and stop it right away if they think there's a chance that, but, even that, that doesn't irk me as much as the point system. Stoppages, I don't like some of these premature stoppages that I see in boxing and in the UFC, but I could understand and agree with it to some extent. But when it goes to the scorecards and it comes down to a decision, that I think the scoring system, the way the judges are allowed to score fights, it should be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more black and white, and structured. Just every punch you land to the body, to the face, is a point. If the face is 2 points, the body 1 point, or the face is a point, a whole point, the body's a half a point. I still don't know how they do that, but whatever. You should be able, any punch that's landed in the legal areas, it should always be a point, in my opinion. They should change it. You know, and people might say, oh, he wasn't hitting him that hard, and that's the guy that won. Every punch he landed was soft, or most of he only landed a few hard punches in the fight, and most of the punches he landed was soft. I know he landed more punches, but most of the punches he landed weren't even hard, solid punches. The other guy, he landed more punches, but the other guy he landed less punches, but still his punches he landed more hard punches. I know people might complain about that, but still, it still makes it more precise and accurate, and you don't have the judges that could just, if they just don't want a guy to win, they could just not count good solid punches as points. It allows you to be more biased. So how could you trust judges when you have such a system that is scored like that in such a, in my opinion, a flawed way? You know? And but that's my opinion. Some people might like it and be okay with boxing the way it is. It's all subject to opinion, and you know. But that's what I wanted to say about that, boxing, you know. And I was thinking about a lot of things. I want to end the video here, kind of, but I kind of want to talk about other things that are on my mind. Like, this is just a random video where I'm just shooting it about random stuff. You know, like, I don't know. Now I was thinking about a lot of things. I had a lot of things on my mind earlier that I wanted to talk about on this video. Now I forget. I only remember that one thing about boxing, but I can't remember the other things I wanted to talk about. Oh well. Like what about all these reality shows? There's every other show you see on TV is a reality show. It's like every other channel, when you got the remote and you're flicking through the channels, it seems like every other channel is a some kind of reality. Some of them are good. Like I like some reality shows. Certain reality shows, like I like the Vanilla Ice Project with Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle. He builds houses, and yes, I told you the other day, I still love him as a rapper. I still love his old music. I don't care what anybody says. I love Wu-Tang Clan, I love Boot Camp, Flipmo Squad, Busta Rhymes, Redman, Run DMC, MC Light, Rakim, you know, and I love Jadakiss and all them, Eminem, MOP, DOS effects. You know, I love all of those rappers from the 80s and 90s that people would consider real rappers. But I also love Vanilla Ice and Hammer. A lot of people shit on them and say that that those two guys, they're sellouts and this and that. And yeah, even Vanilla Ice admitted. He admitted that, yeah, he sold out. He was dressing and wearing his hair like, he didn't want to do it all like that. And he faked that, said he was from this place, but he really wasn't from there. He pretended that he was, a little more thug than what he was, you know. He did, Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle, he did go through some shit, though. When he was a child, he was raised by a single mom. His dad wasn't there. He was in gangs, and he got stabbed in the ass 27 times or something like that. He was in and out of jail. You know, he did go through some rough shit. He had some bad, but he exaggerated. He exaggerated. And even he admitted that he exaggerated about his background and his rough life a little bit just to, because that was the image. That was the image that they wanted him to portray. Because that's what sold. You know, that's what they knew was going to sell. And so Vanilla Ice himself, to his own admission, he did fake it a little bit, and then when he got exposed for that, everybody was on his ass about it. I don't give a fuck. I still love Vanilla Ice, you know. And I love the Vanilla Ice project. Sometimes I get off topic here when I start talking about something, and then I'll go into something else that is related to it, but it's not dealing with the point. Well, this is a video where I'm shooting the shit anyway, okay? So I'm gonna do that. I'm just, you know, I'm just shooting the shit right now, and just, this isn't a video that's on any specific thing, so I'm gonna just do it like I do it. And anyway, but the Vanilla Ice project, the reality show he has, where he goes, he has his crew of people. He has his crew of people, and they go and they remodel houses, and they build pools, and they renovate homes, and I love watching that show. I love Vanilla Ice. He's entertaining, and I like what they've done with a lot of these homes that they went and remodeled. They've done him and his team. They do a great job. And I like shows like Stan Lee's Superhumans, that reality show. I don't know if they still show it. I don't know if it's still on, but I would watch that. I used to watch that. I used to watch that. I was watching Beverly Hills Cop just now. I just turned it on, Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah, I know, that's what I was watching yesterday when I was doing my review about Star Wars and Star Trek. And how it would be cool if they ever met in a movie, Star Wars and Star Trek. No, I had it on Beverly Hills Cop 2. I just put it on this. And, the Stanley Superhumans, he sends a guy. He sends a young guy that he's got an extraordinary ability himself. He can bend and flex. He could bend him. The guy, he could bend himself into a pretzel, and he could fit himself into a box, and so he is extraordinary, you know, quote unquote superhuman himself. And he goes around the country, and he goes all around the world, and he goes looking for people who have extraordinary ability. Like they went and found the guy. He went and he found a guy that he could balance heavy things on his head without breaking his neck. He could stack a bunch of buckets of paint on a board and hold it on his head without, he put a whole car on his head and he was holding it, balancing it. It was a little car, a little buggy. It only weighed, it was a little car. It only weighed like 300 pounds or something. And most cars weigh like at least a few thousand pounds or a ton or something. It was still impressive though. You know, if you could if you can balance a whole refrigerator on your head, even if it's empty, you balance a whole refrigerator on your head without breaking it. It's still impressive. And no, a cooler doesn't count. No, but and he found dudes. This guy, he could balance these. He balanced these ton things on his eyelids. He could put bowling balls onto a chain and with some hooks hanging from his eyelids and not rip his eyelid. It was sick, but it was amazing. The guy who could have a car run over him. There's this one guy. He had a truck run over him. He put a board on his chest and let a truck, because his chest was built with some kind of special way that is rare. You know, people who are, the lady who could scream louder than a bunch of dudes put together. You know, that stuff. She screamed louder than all them dudes put together. And the guy whose head is a human calculator, his mind, and people who do all kind. I like, that's a reality show that I love. Stanley Superhumans. You know, the guy who's a human beat machine. He could beatbox faster than anybody, and people doing all kinds of shit like that. These are those are the reality shows I like. Most of the shit I see on TV, you know, people just acting like buffoons, and they'll have a competition where everybody's in a house or they're on an island somewhere and they gotta compete with each other. I get that, but they'll be making friendships and then stab each other in the back, whether it's all real or scripted, or some of these shows are partially real and partially scripted, and some of them may be all scripted. Still, it's buffoonery that, I mean, if you enjoy that, then watch what you like. You don't have to, if you watch that and you enjoy it, you could enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong. You don't have to, but you don't have to let yourself be influenced by it, though. You can enjoy something, but not be driven to copy what they do in real life. It's like you could listen to rap music, like I listen to all kinds of gangster rap music, but I'm not driven to copy that thug shit that they're talking about, you know, just because I watch hip-hop and I love hip-hop and gangster rap. And I understand a lot of these rappers, that's the life they live, that's the ghetto life they live. That's what they came up out of. So they're going to talk about it and tell their story. I get that. But how they it seems like the record companies have them glorify it. You know, they're glorifying the thug life and robbing people and killing people, and bitches ain't shit, and female rappers talking about niggas ain't shit for nothing but eating my pussy and fucking me right and giving me money, and females talking about shooting each other. But I get it, that's the life they lived, and you know, I find it entertaining, and you know, I don't have to believe that all women ain't shit, all bitches ain't shit, just because male rappers talk about it. I don't have to believe all men ain't shit. You know, I don't have to believe all niggas ain't shit just because some females rappers talk about that. I could listen to it and enjoy it. Let them tell their story about the life they live, whether they're glorifying it or not. You know, just let them tell their story. And you can learn from it. You don't have to copy what they do, but you are listening to it and being informed that this is the life that these rappers, these male and female rappers, this is the hard life that they lived. Whether they glorify it or not, this is the life they live. This is how serious and how real it is in the ghetto. And you can learn from that, you know. And you don't have to copy it in real life, especially if you don't live in the ghetto and you don't have any bad situations. No, you don't have any bad environment. I'm sorry. And you don't have any bad environment to make it out of. If you live in a good neighborhood, then you don't gotta copy it. And most people that live in the good neighborhoods, white people that live in good neighborhoods, black people that live in good neighborhoods, Hispanics that live in good neighborhoods, they'll listen to rap music and enjoy it, but they're not driven to copy it and try to act it out in real life. Just like a person who watches Scarface or The Sopranos or Goodfellas or Godfather movies or whatever, you know, State Property with Beanie Siegel, a person who lives in a good neighborhood that is not stuck in that kind of environment, those people can watch those movies like me. And I grew up in a fairly middle-class neighborhood, not rich by any means. I wouldn't say upper middle class, but lower middle class, but not quite poor is where I grew up in, and that's where I live now. I could listen to all kinds of gangster rap music, male rappers saying vile shit about females, female rappers saying vile shit about males, and rappers talking about killing each other and robbing each other. I could listen to that. I could watch Sopranos and Godfather, Goodfellas, and all kinds of shit, and not be influenced to copy it myself. I could watch it and be entertained by it, but not. You don't have to copy it. And I know that most people who listen to gangster rap music and they watch Scarface and Sopranos, they know that. People who were raised right in a two-parent household, mother and father, sons and daughters who were raised good, they're not prone to copy everything they hear in their rap or their rock and roll music. I love rock and roll too. I love Rolling Stones is my favorite rock band of all time. Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, The Doors, AC/DC, Jimi Hendrix, Kiss, Van Halen, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, you know, Jefferson Airplane, the Beatles. I love Elvis, going way back, Elvis, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Buddy Holly, Bill Haley and the Comets and all that. I love Guns N' Roses, Whitesnake, Dawkins, Metallica, Rat. Those 90s bands, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Guar, Weezer, Oasis, The Verve. I like the Strokes, you know, the punk bands, the Ramones, Black Flag, the Misfits, the Subhumans, 45 Grave, the Dead Boys, Sex Pistols, Angry Samoan. You know, I love all that shit too. Yeah, there's a lot of explicit rock and roll. Getting to my point about that, there's a lot of explicit heavy metal and explicit punk rock music, explicit stuff. I like Marilyn Manson too. I like Marilyn Manson. He's got some explicit, controversial stuff, and it's like you could listen to all that. Iron Maiden talk about 666, the number of the beast, and you don't necessarily have to be influenced by it for you to listen to that and enjoy it. You know, people who were raised in poor neighborhoods, and where there's it's a bad environment, a dysfunctional household, those people, they tend to, if they hear some rappers talking about gang banging and robbing and killing and fuck these hoes, and the female rappers talk about gang banging and killing and fuck these niggas ain't shit. Boys and girls, whether they be black or Hispanic or white, especially, I know it's usually more black boys and girls. It's usually more black boys and girls and Hispanic boys and girls who are stuck in these neighborhoods, and they already have things in their personal life and their environment, in their household and their neighborhood, that are pushing them, that are already influencing them to be destructive, and so when they hear rap music, it's like they are more prone to copy, to act out what they hear, and they're more prone to act it out what they hear in their music. If you're a person who was raised in that kind of environment, like what the rappers are talking about, it's not because of the music, though. The music itself doesn't do that. It's because of the environment you're in, and then when you hear that music, it gets you a little bit more amped up when you're already on the edge in the first place, because of the environment that you grew up in and the environment you're stuck in at the moment. If you grow up in a good neighborhood where ain't no violence and all kinds of bullshit, where you have a good functional household, especially if it's a two-parent household, even if you were raised by a single father or a single mother, and that single mother, she might still provide a good household for you. There are some single mothers who do a great job raising girls, raising boys. If you have a good, stable home, whether it's a single-parent household, it's usually when it's a two-parent household that it's stable. If you have a good home and a good environment, and you're given enough love and discipline and guidance, and you're taught the right things, and then you likely are not going to copy. And it's very rare that a person who is from a good environment like that is gonna act out and copy what they hear in their rap music or their explicit rock and roll music, like Iron Maiden, Marilyn Manson, or Slayer, or Black Sabbath, or whoever, And that's why I think people, yes, music and entertainment, television shows and movies, they can influence behavior. But entertainment, music, movies, video games, I don't care if the movies are action and blood and guts, gangster movies, if it's porn, if it's whatever, and violent, explicit video games and rap music. I don't think that, yes, it does have an influence, like I said, when people who are already on the edge to begin with, because of whatever environment they grow up in, they are likely they listen to some music, some rock and roll, some hard rock, or some gangster hip hop, and if they're already on the edge, that gangster rap might influence them to, that might be just enough to push them off the cliff. But if they're not already on the edge to begin with, ain't no rappers talking about gang banging and fuck these bitches and hoes, and female rappers talking about gang banging and fuck these niggas. None of that is going to have any effect on kids if they have a good life and a good environment and they're taught the right things to begin with, then they are not going to be influenced by that in general. They're not going to be prone to copy it out, what they hear in their music, or what they see in their video games, what they see in their movies. You know? And that I know. I know that. And, you know, I mean, music, movies, and video games, all forms of entertainment, what you see on the internet, what you fuck around with on the internet, it all has some influence and potential influence, but not as much as people exaggerate that it does. You know. I mean, let's not say it doesn't let's not say music and movies and entertainment doesn't have any influence at all, but then at the same time, let's not exaggerate and say that it has more of an influence than what it actually does. Let's not go too far one way or the other. You know, and that's another thing that was on my mind. And, I'll probably be coming on one day, and I'll be doing a list. You know, I'll put a thing up here, and, you know, some kind of picture. I want to do a list of my all-time favorite rock artists, my top 100, and I'll count down from 100 to 1, and my all-time favorite rap artists, my all-time favorite hip-hop artists, do a countdown from 100 to 1, my all-time favorite musicians all put together in rap, rock and roll, blues, soul, country, and whatever. Do a list of my all-time favorite musicians, the top 100, and count down from 100 to 1. And I would love to do that sometime, because I've seen a few of those lists on here on YouTube. I like those. You know, count down my favorite superheroes from my top 30 or my top 10 favorite superhero, my top 10 favorite female superheroes, you know, top 10 favorite wrestlers. I'm thinking about doing a lot of those lists here on my channel, doing fun things like that, and I just wanted to, yeah, I think I'll leave with that. I'll close with that. And I'm looking at one of my comic books right now. It's a Toxic Avenger comic. I think I'm gonna do a comic book review sometime. And okay, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and listening to me. Be sure to click, if you want, leave a comment below and click the like button if you like. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, okay? Thank you all for watching. Good day.